Hey, girl. Hey, Donnie. Shalom, shalom. Top of the day, beautiful people. Let me go ahead and get my water real quick. All right, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday. It is January 24th, 2022, day 323 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,342. Today, we're going to read what we didn't read yesterday in Romance of the Red Star, which is a biography of the earth, another name for Waspy, and it gives a history of everything that happened before all the religions came in, how they started, the beginning, the process of the making of the earth, and all of this good stuff. And that's on page 19. We're in the Book of Sephantes. And then Big Blue, or the Owaspy Lewis edition, it begins on page 19 as well. And then when we get done there, we're going to hop on over here to read the rest of this chapter in Delusions and Science and Spirituality, right? The rest of the Reincarnation chapter. All right, beautiful people. Auntie! Hey, girl, hey. Okay, I'm going to call you, all right? You said it will take you about an hour to get to me. So I'm going to call you. Give me a couple hours today because I'm going to pull something together and we'll chat. Ima, shalom, shalom, cousin, Shayla, hey girl, hey, Hannah Grand Rising, Avia, greetings, Don, what's good, family, Jamia, hey girl, hey, and I just say hey to Tikva, just me, shalom, Vinette, hey girl, hey, Alisa, Avia, Donnie, blessings, hold on, and everybody else that's hanging out already in the background in both places, Facebook and YouTube, top of the day to you. Okay, quick question before we get started. I started the group. I'm not sure if Dana here yet. She normally hang out most of the time on Facebook. But I started the group. I haven't given any permissions. Audrey, hey girl, hey. I haven't given any permissions to anybody yet, right? Because I'm not sure if the same people that wanted to hold wrenches over here want to hold them over there by being administrators. You know, you'll be able to do a couple things. I don't think it's going to be no shenanigans over there. But the group is open to anybody, just like anybody can come here. The group is open. Now, I had a thought yesterday if I should make it private, simply because of some of the stuff. I'm thinking about it because anybody can go get the information from the college. You know, it's out there. They just got to know about it, know where to go get it. Private, okay. Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote. Take for said private. Okay, so that means if it's private, unless we talk about it here or whatever, people ain't gonna be able to get in. So, I guess y'all can tell them about them, but they won't be able to get in and see it. But, you know, if the information goes out, it would have to be somebody that's a part of the group to pull the information and share it. So, what y'all think? Should be invite only? Make it private? Let's take a vote. How many and set up question. Okay, private, everybody invite only. Okay, private. Okay. So we'll make it private. I'll go back and make it private. Okay. The consensus is private. Okay. So I make it private, and then I guess we can kind of freely talk about some stuff, right? Especially some of the stuff that I just found out. Like I think I'm gonna be a little bit smarter than what I was when I got the El Paso Owaspy, right? Thinking it was a John Lant place. But there is something in here, like I posted it, everybody see it now. It's called the Witch's Grotto. Like, how do you completely remove this out here? Right? And first I checked myself real quick. I was like, okay, so maybe this is something else. They pulled it. Let me get the other versions of Owaspy that I have, right? So I first checked Big Blue, right? Got this. Boom. Then I checked the what is this, the 1909 version, right? This one that was published in 1909. I checked this one, right? This is I forget which version, Wing Anderson version. I don't remember exactly, but this is the one where it was one left and they jacked the price up to $300, right? I checked this one. It wasn't in there, right? And so after I checked this one, I thought about the version that Cosmo Cal got, right? So I ordered that one and I checked this one. Cosmo Cal's has Kissinger's legacy reprints, right? At least that's what I saw. When he posted a picture, I screenshot it, found it, and I got it, right? His is a little more worn. I just got it. He's been using his for over 20-something years, right? So I checked this. Neither is it in this. But there's a note in Owaspy, in the lowest edition. Clearly, they knew about it, right? Even though it wasn't published here, and it wasn't published here, and it wasn't published here. I got another version coming. I don't even know. That's taking forever. But there's a note in the lowest edition that says, and I bought, that's the part I bought out. Because at first, before I checked everything, I originally thought it was the Lois who did it. So then I was like, I might have a problem with y'all. But then I was like, wait a minute, no, because I remember just going through this. They said they used a lot of references and from the previous prints, just kind of making sure they had everything, right? And so they put the little note in here that says, it says a section was omitted, right? It's on page 548. I'll tell you exactly what it say. And it's in the book of Soph. I remember we was having this discussion about the book of Sapphi, and it's in the Anubis chapter, which is on page 548, right? And it says antechamber examination omitted. Yes, page 548 in Big Blue. Then it says second part in the dark chamber to wit, right? Now, what I noticed, the whole antechamber, the beginning of this Anubis chapter, right? And clearly we understand that it's following some ancient Egypt type stuff or whatever, but it made its way in Owaspy. But if you're going to put it in here, put the whole thing and let us pick and choose, because what I read yesterday, it deleted the whole or omitted Mom Shalom Shebrew Hey Girl Hey. It omitted the Witch's Grotto portion, which I shared with y'all yesterday, right? And I pointed some things out, and the Witch's Grotto lets you know when these initiates go in, they are initially talking to a witch. And I'm like, and it's the Witch of Sega. And I'm like, okay, let me keep on reading. Right? So you know how in here, it starts off with verse 1 in Owaspy, and it says Mars, M-A-R-S, and then parentheses, it has alias death. Well, this is the actual witch that's talking. But in this earlier version that I checked against all of these that had all of that stuff omitted, it had death speaking, but it seemed like it was two, witch and death. It would look like it was a couple people at the beginning, right? But all of that is omitted. If you go back and look at it, you will see what I'm talking about. And so as you go down, I said, follow it, like take this and take that and look at it, follow it line by line. And there are a few words that are taken out, like the name of the brotherhood. So in here, you just see the brotherhood, but in there, it has the brotherhood and the actual name of the brotherhood. I went to go look it up, and I'm not even sure if they still exist today or if they changed their name throughout time, but it's through here quite a bit. And I'm like, this brotherhood. And then, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just keep on reading. And then there's a part that's taken out, which even if you took out the witch's grotto and you took out all this other stuff, it says in it, there's like a whole sentence that's like removed. If you're familiar with how Masons hide stuff, you can clearly see what they did with this chapter, right? So there's a portion in there, which, like I said, even if you have removed the witch's grotto and the name of the brotherhood, there is something in there that they could have left, right? And we've been none the wiser, right? And we'll think it's just good information coming through. Yeah, definitely. That's common sense for us walking in the line of light, right? And it says specifically almost that those who walk in the line of light should never consult darkness for truth, right? And I just kind of summed that up, and I'm like, yeah, that's not there, because this hops from here, this verse, down to here, and it begins over here. So I just paused right there, and I just skimmed through a little bit more just to see if they had put it anywhere else. But because I had read through it, we read through it already, so I'm familiar with what's already there. And especially when it gets to this, because I already had questions about the book of Safa, and especially going to this chapter and having the plate of Anubis and studying Egyptology a little bit and hieroglyphs and all of that stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, why would they even take this out? So it just takes out, and I'm not even going to say random words. I would say it takes out strategic things. And when you take those things out, it gives it a little bit different of a flow. At least to me, it does, right? So if you haven't read it, I said I was going to read it, but I'm going to just tell you about it while you can now. Well, since I set it up here, I only posted in a group yesterday. The group is going to go private. So if you ain't joined the group, like you ain't already hear me talk about it, go join the group. I know a lot of people, but when I send out the invites, if we're not already like Facebook friends, your name don't even come up. So I can't even send you an invite. And if you can, I don't know how to do it yet. So that's why I told you about the group, and I posted on the regular page so you can go to the group and invite yourself to join, right? Because we're going to make it private. Simply because we still need to flesh out some things we learned. We can bounce some things off of one another. But I really want to dig into that. I really do. That's why I posted it there. So we can talk about this and throw this around. And also within that book, what I got from the college for this particular document, they name all the documents and numbers, right? So when you're researching it, you can see, and it gives you the gist of what's in that document, and it assigns it a number. But I had no clue that this was inside of here, because it's a bunch of things inside of this document, like the book of Zimmers. I heard people talk about the book of Zimmers, like, and they, just different things. But in there, it's listing Zimmers, and it's giving you each Zimmer going through. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And it gives a little, and John Dennon is in that a little bit, because there's a little dissertation that he wrote up about this particular thing that they combined with that. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And so that particular document, that's like 119 pages, right? So I'm going to share that in the private group. We can talk about that, right? That's like the only thing that I had a chance to really look at, like the few minutes that I had, I'm posted in there. Thank you, Jamil, for posting that. Book of Safa, I might be spelling it wrong. Yeah, it's Sapphah. S-A-P-H-A-H. Look, I got it right here in front of me. Yes, S-A-P-H-A-H. Sapphire. Okay. Okay, so when you get a chance, go look at that, right? Jamil just put the link to the group right there. So click on it. When you get a chance, go look at it. Download it. It's a PDF. I screenshot it. Okay, so it's a picture. And the picture, I didn't post it in the group. I posted it in a comment under Jamil's comment. So that's how you're going to find what I'm talking about, right? I will post it. I just didn't do it yet. I just kind of snuck it in there. You know how some people just kind of scroll past stuff. I just wanted to see, because if you read what I posted, you'd be interested in that right there. So I made that post instead of posting it up there. I made the post and I posted it in the comment section, right? So go check that out. And then we'll have to talk about that. And we'll probably talk about that openly because I brought it up openly. But you'll see what I'm talking about. And let me know what y'all think about that. Because, like I said, we ain't come this far to be, not saying that any of what we're learning is wrong, but I want to make sure we're looking at everything in its appropriate light, right? And if something that was originally meant for another type of situation and they've just taken it, because some people, like, it's kind of like this. You out in the world, like church people do it all the time. You out in the world and there's this secular song that you love so much, and then you become born again, saved and stuff, and then somebody does a holy and sanctified rendition of this particular song, right? So now, instead of the love of your life has now become Jesus Christ, right? It seemed like that type of thing, what was done here. I'm not going to say with all of it, with this particular chapter right here, right? And so I'm also not sure, because the way that flows is that you have this like Anubis chapter, then it begins to flow into this book of Zimmers. And there's different portions of the text between each Zimmer. So I'm just like, okay, I don't know, because I've never seen like the book of Zimmers like by itself, if it's just Zimmer, 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 or if it flows like that. I know, right, Jamil? These editors getting on my nerves. But we got to pay attention to the flow and see if they just kind of added things. But if you would go to the college website to order this stuff, you wouldn't even know to get that. And I just happened to look upon this one just because of like reading through all the descriptions of stuff. I didn't even know this was a whole rites and ceremonies, but I just got, as I was looking up, there were certain sections that I just like, I think I'm gonna get this. So after I picked out the ones, I picked out a few more that seemed kind of interesting, but I wasn't really sure, like interviews, people who were there, actual accounts. I even got a whole, they sent me a section, a whole document full of the running court cases with Shalom and the different people involved. Now, some of that stuff I've seen on site. So some of that stuff somebody else has also gotten, and they've made it public on some of these forums. Because I was like, yeah, I read that. This is out there. Yeah, you can clearly find that, this. But there's some stuff in there that you can't find. Like his daughter, John Newbro's daughter, there's a picture in there of her. There's like a baby picture in there, but there's also a picture in there of her when she's a little bit older. And there are quite a few letters between her and some other people who wants history about Shalom and the different things going on and some of the things she said she would do. So I was like, oh, this is really interesting. But like I said, with the time I had, it just kind of skimmed real quick. But this is the thing that really caught my attention, because I was like, oh, the Anubis chapter. And I remember how it started off. I was like, wait, the witch's grotto? Like, and that's what made me stop. I'm like, this might be a note or something that they added. No, it's an actual part of it. And I'm just like, oh, this is really interesting. So, yeah, when you get a chance, check that out. And like I said, I'll post it publicly because we're talking about it here on the page and in the community section on YouTube. Just give you something to think about. But everything else is going to be stuff like this that I got. It's going to be in a group, and the group is going private. So just to let you know. Like, if you don't get in now and we don't know you, like if you don't come in and say something like while we live and I see you requesting to come in, it's like, Do we know you? Right? So I'm just saying, if you want to see, we'll talk about some stuff from time to time, but some stuff we still trying to understand and work through, that's just going to be in that private group. All right, so just to let you know. Okay, y'all. So let's go ahead and get started. I thought that was quite interesting. Very, very interesting. And I know how super excited I got. Like I said, I got last time when I thought I had the John Lant plates. Turns out to be El Paso Owaspi, right? And it's a little bit more detailed information about that too. When the Joan said that the house flooded, and then because it was damaged in the flood, they just burned everything in the back, you know. So I'm like, well, okay, yeah, that's out there. But it just kind of makes it like a little more clear that because it was destroyed in the flood, like it couldn't be salvaged, they had to get rid of it. So instead of like throwing it away, they just took all the destroyed stuff out to the back and just set it all on fire, right? So it's a little bit more information in there about that. Yeah, but like I said, I think I just kind of lucked upon that because while I was putting in my order, I don't even remember specifically requesting that or even realizing that that wasn't something I requested. So I'm not sure how they put all these categories and libraries together, or maybe it's just a bad description of what it is. I don't know, but we got it. So, all right, y'all. So we're starting on page 19 in a Romance of the Red Star, which is chapter 4, right? So we'll read one chapter. It's pretty short, and then we'll go over here to delusions because I took a bit of time explaining that. All right. So God and his lords established such colonies in heaven, and they embraced the arts of healing, education, industry, drapery, manufacturers, the building of ships, and all things required for the spirit. And great labor came upon the host of God who founded these things, toiling day and night, receiving the Ezians and providing for them food and clothing. And many of the hosts of God lamented that they had come to the corporal earth, and they framed songs and anthems of lamentation, and these they chanted even whilst at labor. God was troubled that they should thus lament in presence of the Ezians, and he called together the proper officers that he might rebuke them. But the light of Jehovah spake from the throne, saying, Rebuke them not, my son. Did I not command them, saying, Behold, I have created a new world. Come ye and enjoy it. And they listened to the voice of Corpor, becoming bound. Wherefore then shall they not lament? Do they not remember their former homes in Ethera, and thus aspire to regain them? But seek thou, O my son, to make their lamentations a glory in the souls of the Ezians, that they may also aspire to a higher heaven. The voice departed, and God, perceiving the wisdom of Jehovah, commanded certain officers to collect many of the anthems and deposit them in the library of Hord in heaven. And they did so. This then is the manner of their lamentations. Where is my throne, O Jehovah, where I was happy? I dwelt with thy hosts afar. O the songs in thy upraised kingdoms. When shall I rejoice in the music of my own home in Ethera? O those sparkling running waters. O the pastimes and feasts of love. Where is it, O Jehovah? It was my home in high heaven. I fell in darkness, wandering soul within me that leadeth me forth. The gardens of Jehovah stood on every hand. Oh, senseless feet to take me onward. Into darkness I was lured. Sweet perfumes rose midst the darkness. Intricate in thy glory, O Jehovah, I lost the way. I was lost. The music of thy spheres was shut out, and I was environed in darkness. So this is saying that the sons of God who came down and had sex with the daughters of man, these are the ones who are lamenting because now you're bound to the earth because of what you did. The music of thy spheres was shut out. I was environed in darkness. Where is my home, O Jehovah? Why have I forsaken it? Crystals and high arches on every hand, standing out, shining, and the songs of my sweet loves. Such was my home, a place of glory. I bartered them all away, wandering forth, buried in the dark. Oh, for my home in high heaven, mirth, song, rest, and love, clear, shining. Thou, O Jehovah, hast given me sons and daughters. Out of this darkness my gems were born. Oh, I will polish them up. Kin of my kin, I will raise them up. The goddesses in heaven above will come, descending in ships of fire. My jewels shall enter and rise with me. We shall search for my home, the haven of rest. I see thee, O Jehovah, afar off, higher than the highest of heavens. O hasten my home and my rest. O ripen my precious fruit. O take us to the Etherian worlds. But no one could repeat their numerous lamentations, for there were hundreds of thousands of them. And as the Etherians sang them, the Ezians, the newborns in Atmosphere, listened longingly, listened and looked upward. Boy, yeah, that's a cry from the depths of your shanana. You get kicked out of heaven, boy. All right, so we're going to pause right there. Page 19, just one little chapter. That was good, though. Page 19 and 19. All right. Our girl, shalom, shalom, sis. Okay. Wonder how many plates there were. You know what? In the book of Safar, there are some things, some plates. Listen, some of the plates, remember? We'll talk about it. I'm gonna just say some of the plates that weren't explained make a little bit of sense in light of what I have now, because it explains some of those plates now. I'm like, if they weren't going to explain the plates, why would they put them in a WASP so people that we even know that there was a plate? But there's some explanations in that. So, all right. So page 316 in Delusions and Science and Spirituality, the Reincarnation chapter. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5, maybe like about 3 pages. Like I said, if you take away the 2 diagrams in here. Okay. Quote, we keep doing it until we do it right. End quote. Shirley MacLaine, Dancing in the Light. With former lives in the therapeutic spotlight, a curtain is thrown over this one. The real seeds of distress, buried in the floatism of this very life, are recklessly abandoned for the sake of uncovering karmic determinants, the meat and potatoes of past life therapy. Quote, if the energies in a particular situation do not make sense, then a past life karma is probably involved. Regression therapy is on the increase, especially when people cannot seem to find reasons in this life for their problems. End quote. Witten and Fisher, 1986, page 54 and 94. This is nonsense, a wild goose chase. With our sights set on the phantom life, we sacrifice the uniqueness, even the identity of this one. Phobias, homosexuality, distrust, inferiority complexes, deformities, guilt, secrets, loneliness, high blood pressure, marital infidelity, nail biting, you name it. Past lives will account for it all. Never mind that a likely trauma or privation in this very life remains undiscovered and untreated. No, with the focus of past life awareness on deep hypnotic regression, on far memory, the client is now the sport of ancient hang-ups and fabled identities. Even Professor Stevenson recoiled at the, quote, foolish implausibilities that disfigure most hypnotically induced previous personalities, end quote. Stevenson, 1987, page 45. Sybil Leek argued that a more advanced animal can reincarnate as a, quote, low-level human being, and to become fully enlightened beings, we must undergo evolution of consciousness by being born into bodies time after time, end quote. Leek, 1974, page 93 and 21. Thus, the aim of reincarnation is the progressive improvement of spirit, which needs the trial of material life to move ahead in its evolutionary progress. Quote, Each incarnation becomes more highly specialized as more permanent growth takes place, by means of which man accomplishes his spiritual evolution into Superman, ever unfolding toward perfection. End quote. James Perkins, Theosophist, Experiencing Reincarnation. Yet, yet according to this version of evolution, humanity, which is no youngster, should already be in its moral apotheosis. Apotheosis. Yet, according to this version of evolution, humanity, which is no youngster, should already be in its moral apotheosis, having suffered countless incarnations in the ever-advancing development of soul. One would think that the world should be in great shape by now. I also wonder if it is fair to a child to impose such pet theories on him or her. Regressionists think so. One of them tells us of a, quote, gentle, beautiful little girl with very morbid streaks and unreasonable fears. Would it not help the parents to know that she had several violent, traumatic lives? Would it be much easier to understand and guide her? End quote. Wambach, 1979, page 127. So do we keep this terrific insight a secret from the little girl, or do we tell her, quote, you had several violent past lives, end quote? This is appalling. I think we know enough about fears and phobias to say that their antecedents lie not in previous embodiments, but in the vulnerabilities and unrecognized, often denied disasters that took place early in life, this life and none other. The syndrome of the, quote, non-person, end quote, see page 304, gives us a good idea of where, say, quote, inferiority complex, the ravishment of normal ego, self-image, usually by our own caregivers, comes from. I'm going to read that sentence again, but without saying like quotes, and then I'm going to look at page 304 real quick. The syndrome of the non-person, see page 304, gives us a good idea of where, say, inferiority complex, the ravishment of normal ego, self-image, usually by our own caregivers, comes from. Let me look real quick. Okay, we read this. Okay, yeah. It's called The Worst Torture on page 304, where it explains that. But we read it. It's actually in this chapter, in the Reincarnation chapter, so I won't reread it again. But if you need to see it, just kind of go back and reread it on page 304. Okay. The syndrome of the non-person, see page 304, gives us a good idea of where, say, inferiority complex, the ravishment of normal ego, self-image, usually by our own caregivers, comes from. But to the reincarnationist, the girl who, quote, felt a deep sense of inferiority, end quote, in the Casey files, was once, quote, an American Indian girl who felt hopelessly inferior, end quote. These agents of sham, I might use that. These agents of sham, with their past answers, seem to have no compunction about ignoring the very real trauma in this life and blaming instead some far-off drama in the past, cloaked in mystery and make-believe antecedents. Pangs of guilt? Not to worry. Past life readings explain the way roots of our flaws and failings. No wonder reincarnation finds adherence, for it manifestly exploits the great reluctance to recall our own traumas and faults. So there's a picture here. It's figure 7.8, and it's a past lives cartoon by Tony Webster. So it looks like it's a guy who's stealing something, and the cop has found him, right? He ran up on him. It's for Facebook. Right? And so what it says is it's a store he broke into. It's an old antique store. And so the cop coming up, and it says, hello, hello. It's probably hello, right? But the guy, while he's stuffing stuff in the bag, he's looking back, and then a little above it says, don't you arrest me. These belong to me in my last incarnation. How foolish, right? You know what? We already got issues with the law, with vagabonds getting inside of law enforcement. Just imagine if they apply some of these reincarnation theories and began to adjust the law. People would be able to get away with darn near everything. Think about reincarnation in that light. It will supersede law and order. Like you would literally, oh, I'm just paying for my past life sins, right? So, and people would get it, and they will argue that away. They really would. People can argue away anything. We on page 319. Psychic John Edward has commented on the occasional sitter who comes to him and says, quote, I don't want to hear anything negative, end quote. In Etiology of Hysteria, Sigmund Freud also affirmed patients reluctant to think about or mention certain noxae? I ain't never seen that word in my life. Noxae. Hold on. In Etiology of Hysteria, Sigmund Freud also affirmed patients' reluctance to think about or mention certain noxae and traumas, 1896. As long as the trauma or disaster or wrongdoing is buried or disregarded, fairy tales like reincarnation can step in. Patients in past life therapy seem to speak more freely about their problems, almost as if they're speaking about someone else. Aha. Accumulated psychological pressures are thus lifted with pleasant assurances that one is now coping with the devilry by bringing it to the surface. Good old abrasion at work, a chance to vent. But suppose that this surfacing stuff comes not from a previous embodiment at all, but comes from some entrenched spirit that has undetectedly taken hold. I have written this chapter to convey a simple message. This sublunary life we've been given is a one-shot deal. There is no second chance, not on Mother Earth, and little choice either. The only choosing I am aware of is to make or not make the most of it, because it is the only life we have. Quote, remember, O man, these are the lessons of your Creator, which he gave unto you. This is the beginning, and you shall be your own judge and master. Wait not for a Savior to save you, nor depend on words or prayers, but begin to save yourself by purifying your flesh, by purifying your thoughts, and by the practice of good works done unto others with all your wisdom, love, and strength. For through these only is there any resurrection for you, either in this world or the next. End quote. Owaspi, Book of Judgment, chapter 13, verse 34. I'm gonna have to set them plants outside. Them little, so you know how you get a plant and you get like little nets sometimes come with them? I'm gonna have to take them out there, air them out or something, and water them out there, like shake them out, make sure ain't nothing down in the dirt. It plucks my nerves. All right. I know they ain't had nothing to do with the price of tea in China, but just in case you looked up and saw me doing like this, that's what it was. Hey, sir. All right. With the bottom of page 319. I have come to understand that the spiritualization of our race is upon us, but will not blossom until the psychic faculty, the inner all, is fathomed, appreciated, and mastered. Hasten the day. A high level of performance in this life is all that is needed now and forever. A million dreamed up past and future lives cannot compare to one nobly lived. In ancient Egypt, many women had familiar spirits. Quote, and they prostituted themselves in counseling with the multitude on earthly things, thus inviting spirits of the lower heavens who would not raise up from the earth. And when the young babes were born, they were obsessed. And these evil spirits, in justification of their sins, taught reincarnation, end quote. And Moses said that in Owaspy, in the book of Safa, Osiris, chapter 116. In the next chapter, we'll take a closer look at these familiar spirits and how they infested and finally brought to ruin the first great civilization of ancient Egypt. Ooh, that's going to be so good. Oh, yeah, look. Yeah, it's one of these. I saw this in that. She shows this this diagram in here in Osiris. And some of these pictures that you see in Owaspy, these diagrams, like I said, they're in this particular rites and ceremonies book that I was telling you about where I found Safa at. But it's really, really interesting as it goes on to explain some of this stuff, right? Okay, so with that being said, beautiful people, we have 41 minutes. What? We ain't been done this early in a minute. Okay, so I don't know. Let me see. I don't think I missed no questions. Everybody just here hanging out listening. Okay, so any questions? Any questions? Remember, if you missed it from the beginning, like I said, I only posted it in the group yesterday, but I'll post it. It's the only thing that I'm gonna post for a little while until we work through some of this stuff that I got, and we can sort it out. So that way, when it's presented, I won't mispresent it. I'll say it this way: I won't mispresent it, getting people super hype, thinking I found something. Because remember how hype I was when I thought I found the John Land plates, and then when I realized it was the El Paso Owaspy, I took all the pictures and threw them on the floor, right? Because I thought I had got somewhere, just to realize I had been set back. I'm like, what is we doing this for? Right? So, but I get excited about research. But this is interesting. The book you found,
I am the scientist.
Safa in, how old is it?
On the science side, you can have the spiritual, I guess, historic side because
yeah, hold on. Good question. Let me see if I can pull it up while I'm right here. I'm gonna have to go to my emails. No, I downloaded it. It's a big file. Yeah, I had to, what they sent me, they sent it to me in a zip file. Let's see. Lecture. Yeah, I read so I can go right to it. Because as I was going through my stuff, I was like, what did I just see that? Because I had closed it out. And then I had trouble finding it, so I had to go through all the document numbers and find it again. I renamed it Rites and Ceremonies. Emethakava, Book of Zimmers. Like, it's full of this. It is Emethakava. You know, I wish I could just share my screen right now. I don't even know how to do it. Hold on. Okay, so you know what? Look, we got a few moments. Because I already been talking about it, let me see. Hold on. Because this is what y'all gonna go read. I've already made it public. Just in case some of y'all won't be able to look it up for a little while. Hold on. Let me find the date. This is... That's Josh's. Put it back. And it's only one. Okay, Jamil. So it's only... Thank you, Don. Noxay. Did I say it right? Noxay. Noxay means traumas. Thank you. I probably got to go to the online dictionary and listen to the pronunciation. Shebrew said, Jeremiah. Okay. Yeah. The New Mexico State University archives, the stuff that they was downloading for me. Yeah, this came from them. But, okay, so this says, it doesn't have a date. But it's Owaspy Publishing Association Cosmon 85. It actually has Cosmon 85 first, Owaspy Publishing Association, Los Angeles and London. But I don't see any other. Let me see if I can scroll down real quick where it can give me the actual pages, because that's the thing about this particular document. Oh, let me go to this one. Rites and Ceremonies of the Faithist Order, Imethakava. This is the portion I was talking about. Reset in large type with annotations and comments by Jim Denon, 1984. So he added his comments, and the date that the only date up here is the date where he comes in and add, from what he read, his comments. He adds his comments to it. So his comments are from 1984. Clearly, this work is from before then. And this is Cosmon 136, Owaspy Research Group, Lexington, Kentucky, and Seaside, Oregon. And this goes into ancient Egyptian rites and ceremonies of Imethakava, Faithist Order, as conferred by the Lodge of Uruk, first 3 degrees, including the Book of Zimmers, right? And so it goes through there, and this is given a lot of his comments. This next, Imethakava, Rites of a Newbie. See, I didn't even go this far down here. Hold on. Let me see something. Contents. Oh, let me read this part. Hold on. Oh, because it's going into... Hold on. Let me see what he say.
Mom.
It's going into that part that I told y'all that was taken out.
Mom, guess what?
Hold on, let's see. I'm glad I came down here because I was going to try and read from y'all from the little small original printing. With his notes, he pull out those pieces, and it's like a regular reading book. So I'm going to read it from here, and I'm going to see what his comments say. Sounds like Noxie. Not Noxie. Oh, Noxie. Okay. Go do some homework. Look, I'll be doing homework a little bit later. I'm actually, working on the paper. I'm working on the paper for the business, but it's a government bid that's due. I got to the 27th, but can't turn it in on the 27th clearly because I got to mail a signed bid in. So we're gonna have to send it off on the 25th, and I'm gonna overnight it and make sure it's there a day early because they got signed stuff. And if y'all familiar with like the government bidding process, I can't. And see, I never wait that late turning in a bid, So I don't know why I be fooling around with school, right? Because I know the business is making us money, right? That's why I be so hitting the deadlines, But when it comes to school, it's like, yeah, it ain't gonna make me lose a job. But the information that I'm getting, I'm realizing some of the stuff is actually helping me with our business. But anyway, okay, so there are no dates, Jamia. They got Shebrew. Apparently they got lodges. Or this is all, or maybe that's what I'm trying to figure out, and we can talk about it a little bit further. If this was actually taken from something already that the Masons had in their lodges and in their order, and they just kind of took it and they scrubbed it to make it go into Owaspy, right? Like they was trying to reproduce the same thing. I'm not sure of this yet. Okay, so let me read you this.
You talking about the Freemasons?
Yeah. Okay, so
Why do you sound like they were past tense? Like they're still not.
no, they're not. There's lodges everywhere. Okay, listen. So I'm jumping down to page of this particular section because the page numbers restart again after each little thing, right? So you can clearly tell this was an older document, the one that's all typed together. Like it wasn't. It's not all capital letters. That I will tell you, it's not all capital letters. Like John Lance typewriter would have been all capital letters. So I'm not gonna say it came from his typewriter, but maybe somebody retyped it, and it's like regular capital letter, lowercase letters, sentence, all of that stuff. But everything is condensed together in little paragraphs, like, not like how we would break it up today, right? Like if somebody's talking, if there's a play going on, you got John speaking, John is here, then James is speaking. John, James, right? And it'll go like that. And here, it got John, he say what he say, then it's James, say what he say. And they keep doing that, making it like a condensed paragraph, if that makes any kind of whatever. Okay, so listen, let me scroll back down here to, it's going to break all this up, the book of Zimmers, all of this, and scroll back down here to where I saw John Denning, where he goes into it a little bit. I'm sorry, Jim Denning. No, not that one. Let's go back to the witch. Okay, here we go. Oh, this over here. All right. So let me check my time. Okay, I got a few minutes. Imethakaba, rites of Anubi, ancient Egyptian ceremonies, initiation into Lodge of Arak, right? So this whole initiation, and we read it here, we look like it's being, they being initiated into Imethakaba. The faith is brotherhood, but the brotherhood they actually talking about for all of this is the Lodge of Arak, A-R-A-C-H. So y'all can go looking into that particular order. I tried looking up some stuff and I came up with nothing yesterday. So I'm sure I didn't look everywhere. Like I said, I only had about 20 minutes where I was like really researching them. I wasn't able to pull up anything. So they could still be in business, so to speak, or they could have changed their name or whatever. I don't know. Okay, listen. Initiation into Lodge of Arak, prelude or preparatory degree, chamber of death, darkness, which is Hak, H-A-K, north, introductory degree. And it says notes, and this is Jim Denning's notes. In the published Owaspi version, this portion is entitled Anubis Old Egyptian and references play 82 of the 1882 edition or play 85 of the 1891 version. The contents of that play are explained in the examination portion of the Lodge of Arak opening ceremonies, which was omitted from Owaspi. See, I told y'all, I didn't even get this far, but that's what I had figured out by reading it and already looking at it in these versions. And remember we talked about, do we find an explanation for this? I'm going to keep on reading, and maybe they'll talk about this particular figure, the picture, right, the plate. But some of them, they never do, right? But listen, read this again what he said. In the published Owaspi version, this portion is entitled Anubis, Old Egyptian, and references plate 82 of the 1882 edition or plate 85 of the 1891 version. The contents of that plate are explained in the examination portion of the Lodge of Arak opening ceremonies, which was omitted from Owaspi. How do we know? Because if you go to all of these printed editions that we have out here now, right? Page 548 to be exact here. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm wrong page. Page 548, Anubis, Old Egyptian. It starts off and it says ante-chamber examination omitted, right? And that's what I'm like, oh, we getting some juicy stuff now. I ain't seen this nowhere yet. Right? Listen. The contents of that plate are explained in the examination portion of the Lodge of Arak opening ceremonies, which was omitted from Owaspi. The first part of this introductory degree, referred to as the ante-chamber examination, was also omitted from Owaspi. A description of the subsequent 5 degrees of Anubi, otherwise known as the ancient Egyptian Imethakaba, is given in the Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 7. Anyone could take the introduction and first degree. Only Faithers were permitted the other 4. Later, Chesoda became the false Anubi, master of the scales of heaven, savior of men, son of false Deus, for which we see Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter XI, verse 7, right? And so now it goes into the thing. First scene, which is Grotto. Music, march. Initiate A. See yonder lives the witch of Siga. Let us go to her and inquire into the mysteries of her gifts. Initiate B. Well said, let us question her about the spirits of the dead. Initiate A. Say, witch, what are thy gifts? Witch, my gifts are with the gods, not with mortals. What desire ye? And if it be beautiful wives and husbands, or great riches, or goodly conquest over your enemies, by the cross of my palms, I hold the keys. Initiate A. We desire, I gotta scroll up. We desire neither marriage nor riches, nor triumph over our enemies, but to learn the mysteries of thy gifts and to unite ourselves in a brotherhood for doing good. Hold thy hand, which here is money for thee. Which, am I a servant that thou shouldst set a price? Nay, by the fates, remember the fates, the uxa, the prophet's wheel, the cross that false prophets are hung on, and if you make it off that alive, we know that you the real deal. But if you die, that's verification that you's a false prophet, right? Listen, which, Jeremiah, turn it down. You said it right here. Listen, which, am I a servant that thou shouldst set a price? Nay, by the fates, save ye cross both my palms with 2 talents more, I would not call up the spirits of the dead. Initiate a most avaricious prophet. Hear then, which, take this gold and lead us into the mysteries of the unseen. Which, and if this be counterfeit money, may the angels of darkness come upon thee. Initiate A. I tell thee, it is good money, which. Every time I read this, I don't know why I hear which being pronounced with a B. That's probably the whole attitude. Initiate A. I tell thee, it is good money, which, and I will provide thee many with the bark. Which, why, then come inside, thou shalt know all. Second scene, haunted chamber. Note, what? Sounds like the devil. Here's a note. Look. Yeah, Jeremiah, we know. Listen. Note. Equivalent text in Owaspy, Safa, Anubis 1 through 45. The covenant is Anubis 19. See Anubis play 82, 1882 Owaspy, or play 85, 1891 Owaspy. And here is where it picks up in here, right? So listen to this. Now that we've read the witch's grotto at the very beginning and who they're talking to and where they're actually at, now the rest of this begins to make a little bit more sense, right? And so it goes on, and death is now speaking. What is this noise and confusion? Who comes here to disturb our haven of rest? Initiate A. Hark, I heard a voice. It is true, this place is haunted. Say thou, angel or spirit or angel, who art thou? Death. I am death. All who enter here must die. Be ye prepared. Initiate A. What fearful words? Must we die? Death. Silence. Initiate A. Alas, O death, spare us. Command us as thou wilt, but slay us not. Death. Impious mortals, this place is consecrated to the spirits of the dead. All who enter here must die. Initiate A. We implore thee, O death, is there no respite? Death. Over your heads I hold the 2-edged sword. Fear ye and tremble when I command. Initiate A. Alas, O death, we and all mortals fear thee. What shall we do? Give us hope. Death, there is one respite. Sit ye at my feet, token of your submission to a higher power than mortals. Bide ye there till I call my fellow god, life. Ye shall know your doom. They all sit down. Okay, and so it goes on, right? And it goes on with the rest of this, but there are some differences. I just want to kind of pull it out. I may need to go back up here. Okay, so with income, 10%. I wonder if I should just read this through instead of skipping trying to pull it out. Hold on, let me just see something. Life, remember this lesson. Oh, there it is. That's what I wanted to tell y'all. Remember this lesson. Hold on. In reverse order. Weird. Go back up. Let me just read it. Let me just read it down. Okay. There is one respite. Sit ye at my feet, token of your submission to a higher power than mortals. Bide ye there till I call my fellow God life. Ye shall know your doom. They all sit down. Death, all hail, O life, hither, hither. Mortal intruders have profaned our sacred chamber. Come thou and deal with them, that I may receive their souls. Life, hail, O death, I come. Mighty art thou, but for thee, mortals would esteem themselves gods. Take me to them, brother. Life, mortals, for what purpose are ye here? Speak to me, I am life. Initiate A. Pity us, O life. We are friends of the spirits of the dead and came hither to consult with them. Life, through whose advice are you come? Initiate A. The witch of Sega, right? All of this. This right here, what they saying now, this is also removed. Anything about the wicked witch of the West, they removed her, right? They either skip it all the way or they change the name to death, right? That's what I noticed. So that's why I said, take this chapter in any version of a WASP that you have and go through it line by line. So if you got it open while I'm reading it, and I'll point out what I remember that I know for certain is not there. Like what I'm reading now, this part is not there. Life, through whose advice are you come? Initiate A. The witch of Sega sent us, saying it was the abode of the spirits of the dead. Life, she is a wicked witch and should be bound on the wheel. Initiate A. Alas, O life, we knew not this. Pity us for our ignorance and deliver us from death and darkness. Life, on one condition can I spare you from death's hand. I have the scales here by which I weigh mortals, and by your words shall you be weighed. And this part is there. For by your words shall ye be weighed, for words are the expression of the spirit within. If therefore ye repeat after me my words, ye shall live. But if ye do not so repeat my words, ye shall die. Neither will I utter aught but what is all good. Mortals may utter words. Neither will I utter aught but what all good mortals may utter my words after me. Initiate A. Utter whatsoever thou wilt, and we will utter after thee. Initiate B. Thy words will be our words. Then it has Lodge of a Rock covenant. Remember, a rock is A-R-A-C-H. Oh, we never see a rock inside a WASP, right? It was removed from there, but you can see it through here. And I want to say maybe this was a portion of the original versions of stuff, or maybe they have taken this from some other place and they just added it to a WASP. Not sure which one yet, but we know that John Newbro was in heavy communication with his Masonic brethren, right? Okay. Lodge of Iraq, covenant, life. Then repeat your own names and then these words. They give their names together. In the presence of angels and mortals, I covenant that I will forever keep and never reveal any of the secrets or mysteries of the Brotherhood of Iraq. Right? Listen. In a WASP, it just ends it at brotherhood. But here it has, I covenant that I will forever keep and never reveal any of the secrets or mysteries of the Brotherhood of Iraq. To where you reading it in here, you just thinking you're not going to reveal any secrets of the faithist order. That's not what all this originally was. This was an actual other brotherhood with a name. They had their own stuff. They just removed the brotherhood's name. I'll repeat it again. Life. Then repeat your own names and then these words. They give their names together. in the presence of angels and mortals, I covenant that I will forever keep and never reveal any of the secrets or mysteries of the Brotherhood of a Rock. And I accept as my brethren all who are here present, and all who have been heretofore initiated, or may be hereafter initiated, as fully as if they were my own flesh and blood akin. Nor will I ever utter one slanderous word against any of them, and I will protect their honor and good names as sacredly as I would my own mother. And hereafter I will engage in some useful occupation, and from my income contribute blank to this brotherhood. Actually have a line where you can fill in however much you're going to contribute. And hereafter I will engage in some useful occupation, and from my income contribute blank to this brotherhood for the benefit of mankind. And I bind myself under no less a penalty than to forfeit all angel presence, both in this world and the next, if I fail in my covenant. In the light of the Father I am sworn. Then it says right here, this is Jim Dennis' note. He says, note, according to the order of the Crescent Rite, the income contribution expected was 10% tithing. This figure is also confirmed in the literature, which is advertised for volunteers to Shalom. JD, his initials. Life. Like this, the whole Shalom, from what I'm understanding, not that there is no good that came out of it, right? But the whole premise of all of this being built, it was built on a, don't quote me, I'm going to just say it like this. It was built, there were some noble aspirations, but it was built like on a foundation of some other things. Excuse me. A lot of which the Masons have to do with, right? This is what I'm finding out.
Yeah, I was conflicted. Like, is Masons good, bad? Then I kind of went into the nice deep dive of everything in American history that's behind the veil, and I was just like,
yeah, everything has some stuff, right?
Y'all are some dark people. Okay.
Listen, life, my brothers, ye have been weighed, and the scales bear to your credit. Ye shall live. Initiates A and B, let the spirits give us light. They try, but fail. Spirits, alas, the lamps are cold. The oil will not burn. We cannot make a light. And Jim Denner adds a note here. He said, note, angels did the teaching in these degrees, referred to by the word servants in these rites, substituted for spirits. Right? I'll read that again. Because they're disembodied.
Why don't you just call them enlightened ones?
Boy, pay attention. Quit cutting me off. Listen. Angels did the teaching in these degrees, referred to by the word servants in these rites, substituted for spirits. Jim Denner. Life. Let this be a lesson to you. When cast down or are in darkness, call not... Hold on. There was a part in here. Was it that? I'm going to just keep reading. Listen. Let this be a lesson to you. When cast down or are in darkness, call not on the spirits of the dead for light. Hither, O death, hither, O my brother. Death, hail, O life, I come. What wilt thou? Hold on. Life, my servants cannot make a light. The lamps are cold. The oil will not burn. What shall be done? Death, let us supplicate him who is greater than life. He is master over death. Life, it is well. Whosoever is in darkness shall call upon his creator. All light cometh from him. Life and death. O thou, all might and everlasting creator, give us light. Give us light, O Father. Go ahead.
What type of jokes they crack, because I don't know if they be getting tired of humanity sometimes. They be like, bro, look at this dummy. Bro, I'm using nukes again.
Boy, hurry up and finish blending that so I can finish reading this, because my time almost up. I'm almost done with all my free time. Okay. Life. Now let my servants make a light. They try and succeed. Life. Behold, O mortals, by the light of heaven, man hath arisen above the beasts of the field, in token of your fidelity to your covenant, and as a pledge of peace and brotherly love, partake ye of this pipe of peace. Smoke the peace pipe. Life. Arise.
See? So it's not so bad.
Boy, stop cutting me off. Because you listening half-cocked. Listen. In token of your fidelity to your covenant, and as a pledge of peace and brotherly love, partake ye of this pipe of peace. Smoke the peace pipe. Life. Arise, O my brother of Iraq. And now that ye may learn the password of this lodge, let the Rabbah reveal the name of the God of the scales in heaven. Rabbah, I cannot so answer. Life, knowest thou? Rabbah, I am wise. Life, what wilt thou? Rabbah, syllable. Life, syllable thou. Rabbah, then it has blank. Life, blank and blank. And then it says, this is Jim Dennis' note. Note, as explained later, these syllables are given in reverse order. The last one first. Although the password is not given here, it appears in Owaspy. A, nu, B. It's A, comma, nu, N-U, comma, B, B-I. And that was his note. Rabbah, blank, my brethren, is the password and is to be given in syllable as thou hast heard. The password is a new B. Uncle JB, shalom. Rabbah, my brother, blank, blank, my brother is the password and is to be given in syllable as thou hast heard. May the will of the Great Spirit be the center of your action and the test of your behavior toward all men for the glory of God. Life. Remember this lesson, that by the consultation of the spirits through witches and wizards for earthly considerations, this part was removed as well. This is one part that I was telling you about. Listen. Remember this lesson, that by the consultation of spirits through witches and wizards for earthly considerations, man hath ever been led into darkness and death, and that in all angel intercourse, man shall supplicate his Creator for light and truth, which will bring to his aid angels who are wise and of noble aspirations. By the grace of God, be ye disbanded to accomplish good works for his glory. Amen. And we're going to pause right there, but it goes deeper. So now the picture that you see in some of these, the diagrams inside of here, like the Nubis plate, this right here, these begin to make a little bit more sense along with some of these other ones where it has the Emethakava. It goes into a little bit more detail, but I'm not going to read that here, but we can talk about this, like I said, in a group. And so this goes on further with the Lodge of Iraq, and it just kind of just gets into some more stuff, and you will see some things that have words that have been scrubbed from Owaspy, all the current versions that are there. So that's what we got to figure out. I mean, I'm not sure if this was part of the original penning sci-fi altogether. Like I said, I already had, questions about it. So I'm wondering if it's a part of the original overshadowing, or if this is one of the works after the original overshadowing had stopped before JBN became, I'll say, compromised. And then in his compromised state of receiving all this stuff, he began to add all this other stuff in here, right? Animalistic nature. So this is really interesting. I would like to talk about this point a little bit with this stuff. Sounds like it was put in there right. Yeah, Imam. So, but these last things like this, I thought this was a really good point, and I thought they should have left that in there, right? Life. That first sentence they took out, but the whole angel intercourse, supplicate his Creator for light, all that was left in there. But this first part, remember this lesson, that by the consultation of spirits through witches and wizards for earthly considerations, man has ever been led into darkness and death, right? That was removed, but it keeps going on with in here. You can find in other versions, and that in all angel intercourse, man shall supplicate his creator for light and truth, which will bring to his aid angels who are wise and of noble aspirations. By the grace of God, be ye disbanded to accomplish good works for his glory. Right? So how does that look today? Like the magic books, if you consulting people, soothsayers, right? I guess it still stands true, right? Thou shalt not consult the witch, right? If we keep it good. But if they had left that in there, it'd be really clear in a lot of places, right? The Bible says it, and it's good. But as I was going through trying to understand everything, it seemed kind of like out of place for where it was at. So I was like, okay. But clearly they're always talking the unseen realm. Thou shalt not consult the dead. All of these different things. Now I have a little bit higher, better, a little more clarity about this. I would still say, you know what, I would leave it in there. But the way I was studying, trying to figure everything out, it makes sense to me now in its out of place state, right? And it may need to be that way for some people. Just, hey, keep the gate up, because they just tell them don't go this way, right? We ain't got to explain it to it because they don't understand. Just tell them off limits, right? So I get that. So I would still say interacting, going to get your palms read, all this other stuff. What it's saying is, like, if they're not in a line of light of creator, don't do it, because you're eventually, I can kind of see the progression of what happens, right? You have disembodied or angel hosts coming to your aid, right? And if you're constantly consulting them without consulting the creator directly, like this was one of my things that I mentioned a couple of times, me and my sister, we was kind of going through, I was like, okay, so who do we talk to? Now we know that they helping us. Do we talk to them, or do we just talk directly to the creator? We know we need something, but we know he go through the chain of command. He gonna send them to bring it. So why not just talk directly to them? Because somewhere down the road, it's going to get you off. And I can see it. I can see it happening. It's ever so subtle, right? And if you're not paying attention to detail, you're going to find yourself, it's going to be one tick off the right path here. But if you go in that distance long enough, like this is a straight line. You just one tick off from the path, just a little bit, right? So where you're parallel. If you look this way, you're not so far. You can just really step back over and you align, right? It starts off with just one little step off the path, right? But as the line goes, if you stay off, what's going to happen is if you step off the path, the further you go, the farther away you're going to be. And now if you haven't been paying attention, you're not even going to realize when the voices switch. The voice that's giving instructions switches, because it sounds, we see it all through WASP. Those coming in, faking the funk, pretending like they're the real Brahma or the real Osiris, right? Can't tell the difference if you haven't been paying attention, and you're going to find yourself off. And when you give your body over to the dirt, now you're going to find yourself being their servant. Oh, they'll serve you with all gladness while you're here. Oh, yeah, what you need? I'm going to do that for you. They getting on your nerve. Boom, boom, boom. We'll take care of that. You want that? Boom. Prayers happen like clockwork here. Yes, the Lord hears my prayers. Surely the Lord hears your prayers. And the Lord is answering your prayers, right? We want to make sure we're hearing Creator, right? Anybody coming from Creator, getting you direction from the Creator, it's going to be clear as day, right? But if you get all discombobulated down here, you ain't going to be able to pick up the shenanigans that's ever so slightly added in there, right? And you're going to find yourself becoming a servant when you turn your body over to the flesh, your flesh over to the dirt for a period of time. Now, homie, remember that favor I said? You know what? Just when I need you, just be ready, right? Did all these favors for you while you had your body. Now you over here on my side. I got some things I need you to do. Like what? Like what? Now you have bound yourself to your master with all these favors you got while you was over here in the flesh. Hey, we got what? What? You know who my ancestors is? Yeah, we know. Do you know? Because you're going to be in trouble. They're going to be expecting something from you when you meet them. Y'all got to be careful. The Great Spirit said, "No wise spirit, I come in Cosmon. No more looking to gods, lords, or saviors, but Eola alone." Right? Tab of the right. Look to Creator alone. Look, so that's it, y'all. We're at hour 20 minutes. I'll share a little bit more there. I'll see. Now I tried to upload a file. I'm not sure if the Facebook group allows like it put a cap on file sizes, because some of the files are pretty big. I even tried to upload the PDF document of Romance of the Red Star, and it took like 15 minutes to load. And then when the button actually went blue to where it give you the go ahead to post it, it still wouldn't post it. So I'm thinking maybe the file might be too large, but we'll see. So I may have to, while we go through stuff, I'm gonna probably have to end up having to email it to y'all, you know, if I can't put it up there, because I got the files, right? This time they didn't send it to a link where I could just give you the link before it expires. They were able to, they sent it to me in zip files. So I may have to just email PDF documents. But for now, we'll discourse about it in the group, the Awaken the Truth group, right? And it's going to look, it's like I told y'all, it's going to go private today, right? So everybody that ain't there already, or I know some people that's normally in here, if they come later, we know them. But with this group, ain't no new friends, right? No new friends for a period of time till we go through this stuff. So I'm just saying, if you've been here, even if you commented a couple times where we recognize your name, right? Like if you want to be a part of the group, Jamil put the link to the group earlier up here. And I posted it under yesterday's video. I pinned it. I posted it in the community section, and I posted on Facebook. So you can go there. We recognize you. Right now, before I get to it, before I go make it private, you might be able to go get in. So, but once I hit it, and it's going to be here in a few minutes, then it'll be invite only. And if you ask to join, if we don't already know you, we're going to deny it for the time being. Like if we haven't seen you here, we haven't seen you in our other Creator Gang group and stuff, for now, until we get through some stuff and understand some stuff, it's no new friends. All right, beautiful people. Yes, Elijah, right? Listen, that's what we got to make sure. That's my biggest goal, making sure we don't get off on the Creator's road of light, right? That's why whether you praying, we know angel host is helping us, right? We know they're there. They're helping us, right? But don't direct your attention to them, even when they're relaying messages from the Creator. When you talk, you need a prayer to go through, just send it directly to Creator. By default, like what me and my sister decided we was going to do, I'd say that's good advice, right? Because when we keep our focus on Creator, we can't get sidetracked by shenaniganizing angel brethren, right? Saying sweet things, and we don't have to worry about that. I mean, when you focusing directly on the Creator, he makes sure that the shenanigans, he pipe them down a little bit around us. And especially sometimes when we still super ignorant about some stuff, that's where his grace works overtime for us to keep us from falling, right? So when we see the little slight adjustments, like, oh my God, I didn't even see that. Like, thank you, Father, because I clearly couldn't see that. But that comes with having a pure heart towards Creator and wanting to do what's right. He just kind of helps us in our inconsistencies and in our ignorance, right? So remember that always, 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 always in our road of growth. Always keep Creator first. Focus on Him, progressing, developing, and He will send all that we need. So, Father, we thank You that You always send all that we need, whether we know it, even when we don't even know it, right? You prepare it ahead of time at all the road markers and milestones, all things we'll need, even when we never know. All right, y'all. So that's it for today. Love y'all. Thank you to Jamil posted the group again. All right, so I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early. And I didn't do my whole little day regurgitation thing. It is Tuesday, January the 24th, 2023, day 323 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. And of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1342, we read in Romance of the Red Star, just one chapter on page 19, and it's the same page in big blue. And then we read the rest of the chapter 7 in Delusions and Science and Spirituality. So tomorrow we're going to come back to the Field Guide to the Spirit Realm and start on the last chapter in this book. So that being said, beautiful people, I love y'all. Peace, love, and light. Back here tomorrow morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.